The courtroom doors creak open, and there is silence. Janelle and Christine emerge side by side, their faces fixed in determination, while Kody and Robyn sit petrified at the defendant's table. It's no longer a case of law anymore. It's war. And tonight, secrets entombed for years are going to blow up in everyone's face. Before I start, ask me, whose team are you on, the wives who walked away, or the couple who attempted to keep it all together? Leave your answer in the comments, because this story is going to rock everything you thought you knew. The atmosphere within the courthouse is tense, similar to the air before a storm. Clacking heels are heard ringing out across the marble flooring as Christine walks in, her chin held high. Next to her stands Janelle, fidgeting with her blazer, her eyes glancing in the direction of the reporters huddled against the walls. Camera flashes illuminate the hallway as reporters mutter about potentially the most explosive case on sister wives ever. Kody sits already seated, hands gripped tightly in his lap, knuckles white. His hair, which was once a confidence gesture, is mussed and subdued, like it's given up. Robyn, her hands full of tissues, leans in over him, whispering frantically. But the burden in Kody's gaze says it all. He knows what he stands to lose. This isn't merely about dollars, assets, or TV syndication deals. This is about power. This is about control. And this is about everything he's lost. The judge enters, commanding the room. Court is now in session. Christine can hear her pulse thudding in her ears. She was the good wife for years, raising children, smiling for cameras, swallowing tears when Kody's affection turned elsewhere. But today she is more than just a wife. She's a warrior, and she's prepared to bring the truth out into the light. Janelle, ever the demure tactician, opens a folder full of papers. Her serene face conceals the tempest within. She recalls the late evenings, the money choices that never worked, the manner in which Kody and Robyn seemed to prosper, and the remainder fought. That folder in her lap. It is not paper. It is ammunition. And here's where the viewers lean in closer, because what's in that folder has the power to ruin everything Kody built. Christine clears her throat, her voice calm as she stands to speak. Your Honor, what you are about to hear is not evidence, it's decades of betrayal, lies, and manipulation. Behind closed doors, behind cameras, and behind contracts, the truth has been concealed for far too long. But today, we bring it forward. The courtroom comes alive. Murmurs run through the audience. Even the judge angles himself forward, feeling the gravity of what is about to be said. Kody's jaw clenches. He shifts uncomfortably, darting a look at Robyn. Her eyes are glassy, her lips quivering on the edge of tears. She says in a barely audible whisper, "Kody, they can't do this. They can't." But Christine's eyes never leave him, and Janelle's silence, cold, piercing, merciless, makes it all worse. The first display is set on the table. It's an accounting ledger, one that shows millions deposited into shared accounts held by just Kody and Robyn. Christine allows the quiet to hang, each passing second, weighted with accusation. The gallery audience leans in, journalists writing down quotes as the discovery thunders in like a clap of thunder. This is the point when viewers make up their minds. They can't turn away now. Something bigger, something sinister, is going to emerge. Kody finally loses his temper, his voice piercing the quiet. This is all lies. They're distorting things. You don't know what it takes to keep this family together. His words ring out, but rather than strength, desperation is in his voice. Christine blinks not. She merely states, "No, Kody. It isn't about keeping the family intact. It's about destroying it." Gasps spread throughout the courtroom. Even Meri, who sits quietly in the back of the room, drops her eyes, not able to keep her mixed feelings hidden. She is not a part of this trial, yet each word hurts her too. The judge holds up a hand, for quiet, eyes narrowing at the brewing storm before them. "We will go on, but let me make one thing clear. This court asks for the truth, not drama." And so the stage is set, against Janelle and Christine, two women held together by deception, standing shoulder to shoulder, against Kody and Robyn, desperate to defend their kingdom, their reputation, and maybe even their very marriage. But as the proof mounts, it becomes apparent the truth is heavier than anybody in this room is ready to bear. And just when you think you've heard it all, wait until you see what occurs when Christine testifies. The courtroom is charged with tension, as Christine stands up from her chair, her heels clicking hard on the floor. She strides towards the stand, all eyes in the room glued to her. The judge inclines his head, and Christine lays a hand on the Bible, promising to tell the truth. For the first time in years, she feels the burden of silence press less heavily upon her shoulders. She is ready to speak, not only for herself, but for each sacrifice, each sleepless night, and each broken promise that have brought her here. Picture yourself standing opposite the man who once vowed you forever, the father of your children, the head of your church, the one who managed to persuade the world he was constructing a kingdom of love. Now envision dismantling that fantasy in open court, in front of a judge, strangers, cameras, and the very family who once referred to you as sister. This isn't testimony, this is a reckoning. Christine's reckoning. The crowd in the gallery leans in, attracted by her composure, her passion. She speaks softly, as if to herself. I trusted the dream for years. I trusted him, but what we lived wasn't love, wasn't belief, it was control. And the price of that control sits right here in these books. She holds up the ledger again, her hands firm even as her voice shakes with pent-up rage. Kody squirms uncomfortably, grumbling under his breath, but Christine holds firm. She speaks of late nights, spent pleading for his assistance, of financial stress she endured, as he and Robyn enjoyed luxuries, and of the fact that his commitments always had strings attached. The judge breaks in softly. Mrs. Brown, are you claiming money was redirected without your consent? Christine nods, her gaze never wavering from Kody. Not only diverted, Your Honor. Concealed, manipulated. And always to the benefit of Robyn. Gasps echo through the courtroom. Robyn has her hands clasped together, her lips trembling. Tears fall down her cheeks as she whispers, That's not true, Christine. You know it's not true. But Christine says nothing. She doesn't have to. The evidence is more powerful than tears. And this is where you see the audience at home wince. Because the truth once uttered can't be taken back. Janelle hunches forward, pushing another folder in front of the judge. This one is full of email discussion, communications between Kody and financial planners, laying out secret investments. The room goes quiet as the pages are read out. Figures, signatures, choices, all made without Janelle or Christine's knowledge or agreement. The hook cuts in again. Suppose the man you trusted most was not only keeping money under wraps, but concealing the truth about your whole marriage. Suppose every choice, every concession, every penny you invested into a life shared was constructing someone else's future, while yours got erased, just as silently. That's the horror Christine and Janelle are uncovering right before our very eyes. Robyn's weeping grows louder, and she holds on to Kody's arm, like this will prevent the avalanche descending. But Kody's rage overflows. He smashes a hand onto the table, his voice slicing through the room. This is preposterous. These women wouldn't even have houses without me. They wouldn't even have food on the table. Everything they have is because of me. The judge scowls, his gavel coming down once. Mr. Brown, calm yourself. This is a court of law. Christine doesn't blink. Instead, she fixes him with a cold stare, her voice cutting like glass. Everything we had, Kody, was the product of us, of our labor, our sacrifice, our devotion. You just claimed it, and when you got what you wanted, you left us in the dust. The gallery gasps once more, the whispers flying like wildfire. Reporters write furiously. Even Meri, far back in the audience, bites her lip to prevent herself from crying. She knows Christine's words are not only hers, they're every wife's truth, finally spoken out loud. And here you can feel the watchers at home, holding their seats, because the cracks in Kody's facade are finally beginning to emerge. The judge requests a brief recess, allowing the room to catch its breath. Christine exits the stand, her shoulders shaking as the adrenaline subsides. Janelle approaches halfway, squeezing her hand hard. For the first time in years, they are not just united in friendship, but in fight. Outside the courtroom doors, journalists throng, microphones held out. Christine, do you think you'll win this case? Janelle, are you going to testify next? The women don't reply. They just share a glance that speaks volumes. This isn't about winning, it's about the truth. Inside, Kody slants toward Robyn, his voice low but hot with anger. We can't let them destroy us. If this gets out, it's all over. Everything. Robyn dabs at her eyes, her whisper cold and urgent. But what if it's too late already? Recess is over. The court resumes. Janelle stands, her calm demeanor a stark relief from Christine's blazing testimony. She sets her hand on the Bible, takes the oath, and sits. But when she speaks, her voice is not the same. Measured, careful, and in its very simplicity, devastating. I've been silent for too long. Janelle starts. I thought peace was silent, but silence was really just giving him more power. Today, I shatter that silence. What happens when the quiet one, the one who never ever raised her voice, who remained calm during every storm, finally decides she's had enough? Sometimes it's not the loudest of shouts that changes everything. Sometimes it's the calmest voice. And Janelle's calm voice is about to destroy Kody's defense. The courtroom quiets as Janelle starts laying out the timeline. Years of inconsistencies, cycles of manipulation. She does not scream, but each sentence impacts harder than Kody's yelling ever could. Kody attempts to cut her off, his anger exploding, but the judge silences him with a stern hand. Mr. Brown, you will have your say. Remain silent now. Robyn leans on her hands, shaking as Janelle's words draw a picture of betrayal so profound that it threatens to shatter the foundation of the family itself. And as she concludes her testimony, the silence in the room is an earthquake about to crack open. Because what Janelle is going to tell us next is something that even Christine doesn't know. The courtroom is colder now, as if the walls themselves know what's coming. Janelle sits in the witness stand, her body relaxed, her face serene, but her eyes ablaze with a flame the family has never witnessed before. The judge motions her to go on, and the room waits in silence. Everyone is aware Christine's testimony had been incendiary. But something in Janelle's quietness, something in her controlled speech, indicates that whatever she is about to reveal will rock this courtroom even more. Most times, the most dangerous individual in the room isn't the yeller, the crier, or the fighter. It's the one who waits, the one who listens, the one who gathers every silent piece of information until the moment is appropriate. And today, that individual is Janelle. The female Kody had previously written off as too passive is now going to be the voice that annihilates his perfectly constructed kingdom. The gallery leans forward. Journalists clench their pens. Even Christine, who is feet away, looks in astonishment, because she doesn't know what Janelle is going to expose either. Janelle clears her throat, her voice firm. Your Honor, what I'm going to tell you, I never thought I'd ever say out loud. I believed keeping the family image safe was greater than telling the truth for all those years. But silence had been its own prison, and I will no longer live in that prison. She raises a document, her hands steady. This is not financial mismanagement. This is fraud. Millions flowed into shell accounts in fictitious names, and the signatures that approved those transfers, Kody's and Robyn's. The courtroom erupts into pandemonium. Gasps and whispers, the slapping of camera shutters. Chaos saturates the air. The judge bangs the gavel, calling for order. Robyn bursts into tears, covering her face with her hands. Kody leans forward, his face red with fury. You don't know what you're talking about, Janelle. Those were investments for the family. But Janelle doesn't waver. She meets his eyes, her voice cutting through the noise like a blade. No, Kody, they weren't for the family. They were for you. And Robyn. This is where the people at home sense the tension building, for when the quiet one does come to speak, the truth comes with the force of thunder. The judge orders the bailiff to produce copies of the papers. While the papers are being handed over, Christine leans in closer to her lawyer, her face pale. She whispers, "She never told me this. I didn't know." What happens when an ally reveals a secret so big that even the person standing beside her didn't know it? That's the moment we're watching right now. Christine thought she was leading this battle, but Janelle just dropped a weapon so powerful it could change everything. The judge reads in silence, his eyes passing carefully over every page. Then, after a long moment of silence, he looks up at Kody. Mr. Brown, I see these signatures here. Are these your signatures? Do you have anything to say about that? Kody stammers. For the first time, his confidence falters. I don't remember signing those. This is being manipulated, taken out of context. Robyn's wails become more intense, and she clutches his arm. Tell them the truth, Kody. Tell them. But Janelle doesn't allow the moment to pass. She leans forward, speaking low but authoritatively. This wasn't about money, Your Honor. This was about betrayal. When Christine and I were fighting just to pay bills. When our children were asking us why we couldn't get them basic things. Kody and Robyn were living a world of extravagance. Vacations, jewelry, secret funds, and they made us think we were simply inept at managing our portion. Gasps ring out in the courtroom. Meri glances down, tears in her eyes, her hands shaking in her lap. She is not directly involved in the case, but every sentence cuts her open as well. And this is when the people watching at home come to realize this isn't a family dispute anymore. This is a total breakdown of trust. Christine rests her hand on the edge of the table, leaning in. For years she bore the burden of deception. But tonight she knows Janelle bore an even heavier weight, knowledge. And tonight, that knowledge is their biggest tool. The judge inhales deeply. This court will require time to authenticate these documents. But if what Mrs. Brown has submitted is true, this case could go far beyond divorce and custody. Perhaps we are dealing with criminal fraud. Fraud lingers in the silence like thunder. Reporters scramble for their phones, already drafting headlines that will saturate the web in minutes. Kody pounds his fist on the table. You can't do this to me. This family is here because of me. All of you know it without me. None of this would even exist. His voice breaks, the desperation in his voice betraying the facade of confidence he used to sport so effortless. Christine interrupts, her tone biting. No, Kody, without all of us none of this would exist. You took everything we created and turned it around for yourself. The ensuing silence is one of stunned silence. Even the judge doesn't break in, letting the gravity of what she's just said fall over the room. This is no longer about who is right or wrong in a divorce. This is larger. This is about survival, reputation and justice coming head to head in one room. And as Kody's empire hangs in the balance, the question now is, will he dig his heels deeper with more lies, or will the truth at last destroy him? Robyn stands up abruptly, her cheeks streaked with tears. Stop it. Just stop it. You don't understand. He was trying to save us. He was trying to save the family. Her voice breaks, desperation pouring out. We didn't mean to hurt anyone. The judge waves his hand. Mrs. Brown, unless you are sworn in, you cannot testify. Sit down. Robyn slumps back in her chair, weeping uncontrollably. Kody hides his face in his hands. Christine and Janelle sit together, side by side, their hands tightly clasped under the table. For the first time in decades they aren't just enduring Kody's existence, they're tearing it down, bit by bit. And yet, in the hush between the judge's voice and the murmurs of the courtroom, a cold conclusion starts to set in. If fraud allegations are actually made, this won't only put an end to Kody's dominion, it might put an end to his liberty. And just when the courtroom believes it is worse for wear, Janelle has one final thing to present. A thing so incriminating, it has the potential to seal the fate of Kody and Robyn forever. The courtroom is quiet, but the atmosphere is charged, like the moment before a lightning bolt. Janelle is straight and stiff in the witness stand, her fingers grazing the last folder in her pile of documents. Christine leans forward and says softly, "Are you sure?" Janelle nods minutely, her gaze fixed on Kody. She knows that this next bit will make all the difference. All wars have their breaking. All wars have their moment, when the reality becomes too heavy to be denied, when masks are torn away, and the authentic face of deception is seen. For Kody and Robyn, that moment has arrived. What Janelle is holding in her hands isn't another piece of paper, it's a bomb. And when it detonates, it won't only break their facade, it may burn it all down, everything they ever tried to defend. The judge motions for her to proceed. Janelle slowly stands, proceeding to the evidence table. Her heels click out like a drumbeat, the sound growing more tense with step. She sets the folder on the table and fixes her gaze on the judge. Your Honor, this last paper isn't merely about money, it's about purpose. It shows that Kody and Robyn weren't merely reckless. They plotted this. A wave of gasps goes through the room. The reporters lean forward. Christine's jaw drops. She had no idea this was coming. Even Meri fidgets in the back, her eyes bulging with incredulity. The bailiff presents the folder to the judge. Inside are contracts, secret deals with shell companies traced back to Robyn's name. The dates, the signatures, the transfers, all there. The judge's brows fold as he reads. Mr. Brown, these papers indicate premeditation. Did you deliberately create accounts in Mrs. Brown's name without reveal? Kody's face goes white. He has trouble getting the words out. No, I mean, it wasn't like that. It was business. It was going to benefit the family. Janelle's voice breaks in, shrill and relentless. No, Kody. It was going to benefit. And there, in that moment, the audience feels the knife. The betrayal isn't an accident. It was intentional. Robyn disintegrates, her weeping echoing throughout the courtroom. She grasps at the table, sobbing in tears. We didn't mean to hurt anyone. It was all Kody's idea. He told me it was the only thing. I had no idea it would be like that. The courtroom explodes. Kody spins on her, his face trembling with anger. Robyn, shut up. Picture the one person you trusted more than anyone else. Your closest friend, your last defender, turning on you in the heat of battle. That's what Kody is going through now. Because Robyn's tears aren't tears of sadness. They're tears of confession. And once a confession is made, there's no turning it back. Christine's lawyer takes advantage of the moment. Your Honor, I'd like to have Robyn Brown take the stand. Robyn trembles, unsure, but the judge nods. Mrs. Brown, please come forward. She wipes her face, slowly standing. The courtroom waits with bated breath as she mounts the stand, shaking as she takes her oath. Kody scowls at her, his anger barely suppressed. The lawyer starts tenderly. Mrs. Brown, in your own words, did you and Mr. Brown willfully withhold financial information from Christine and Janelle? Robyn pauses, looking at Kody. He shakes his head angrily, mouthing, "Don't you dare." Tears stream down her face as she whispers. Yes, the room goes crazy. Gasps, shouts, reporters jostling to record every moment. Christine clutches Janelle's hand, their eyes open wide with shock. After all these years of being vilified as bitter ex-wives, their reality is finally vindicated, not by them, but by the woman Kody pledged was innocent. This is the moment the audience at home sense justice. For the first time, Kody's empire is on the verge of crumbling from within. Kody springs out of his chair. She's lying. She's afraid. That's all. You're distorting her words. He slams the table, veins on his arms bulging, his voice cracking with desperation. But the judge bangs the gavel. Mr. Brown, sit down, or I will hold you in contempt. The courtroom is in chaos, but Robyn persists through her tears. I did not wish to do it. I pleaded with him not to. But he said it was the only way to save us, to keep the family intact. I believed he loved me enough to be honest with me. But he lied to me. He used my name. And now I am not able to carry it anymore. The ensuing silence is profound. Even the clicking cameras fade away. Christine wipes away tears, her chest heaving with relief. Janelle slowly breathes out, her composed face cracking ever so slightly as emotion overpowers her. What happens when the last shield crumbles? When the only ally left at your side decides they'd rather save their soul than your reputation? That's what we're witnessing right now. Robyn, once Kody's greatest defender, has just become his greatest threat. The judge reclines in his chair, a serious look on his face. This court will have to carefully examine Mrs. Brown's testimony. But if her testimony is substantiated, we are no longer dealing with a civil case. We are dealing with criminal charges. The word criminal lands like a bomb. The gallery explodes in chatter. Kody slams back in his chair, his hands gripping his hair, his body trembling with rage and fear. His empire, the show, the image, the control, it's all slipping through his fingers. Christine leans toward Janelle, her voice low but firm. We've won. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but we've won. Janelle tightens her fists, saying softly, it isn't finished yet. He's desperate. Desperate men do desperate things. And that's where the tension reaches even greater heights, because desperation is danger. The judge recesses for the day, and the courtroom explodes into chaos. Reporters scamper out with headlines already in formation. Kody Brown facing fraud charges. Robyn testifies against him. Christine and Janelle depart side by side, flashes blinding them, microphones pushed in their faces. But they remain silent. Hinging their silence is a louder statement than any words could be. Within, Kody holds Robyn's arm, his face contorted with rage. You betrayed me, he spits, his tone low and venomous. Robyn shrugs him away, her tears still falling. No, Kody, you betrayed us all. And just when it seems that the war is at its height, the final battle is about to begin. Because tomorrow Kody himself will be on the stand. And when he is, the truth won't be denied. It will be revealed. The tension is palpable. Cameras click, pens scrape across notepads, and the air vibrates with expectation. Kody Brown makes his way to the witness stand, his once proud stride now stooping under the weight of his own decisions. The courtroom seems smaller today, choking almost as if everyone within knows the truth is finally about to emerge. Every war has an end that comes with a reckoning. And reckoning never comes quietly. It comes with fire, with shattered masks, with truths so sharp they slice through the thickest lies. This moment, the one you're watching unfold right now, isn't just about a family in chaos. It's about the fall of a man who thought he could outsmart everyone. Kody Brown is about to face the ultimate test, not of love, not of loyalty but of truth. And after he does speak, there will never again be the same. The bailiff administers the oath. Kody extends his right hand, jaws clenched tight, eyes flashing a glance at the camera. His voice is low as he whispers, "I do." Christine sits in her seat, pounding heart. Janelle leans forward, unblinking, bracing for the impact. Meri huddled at the back corner, couldn't stop nodding her hands. And Robyn? Robyn sits alone now, white face, swollen eyes from last night. She doesn't glance at him. Not once. The prosecutor stands up. "Mr. Brown, let's keep this simple. Did you knowingly withhold financial accounts from your wives, Janelle and Christine?" Kody's jaw clenches. "No, I was defending the family. Whatever I did was for them." The lawyer probes. "So you're telling us these documents dated in your signature, and in Mrs. Robyn Brown's signature, were all mix-ups?" "Yes," Kody affirms, his voice growing strident. "Misunderstandings. Everyone here has manipulated this story to portray me as the bad guy." But the judge cuts him short, his tone commanding. "Mr. Brown, respond to the question straightforwardly." Kody clutches the stand edges, his knuckles pale. "I did what I had to do. They never treated me like the head of this household. They wanted me to fail. And now they act like I'm the criminal." Here it is, the unraveling. The more that Kody talks, the more the world knows the truth. It's not only the documents, not only the evidence. It's his words, his anger, his desperation. Because sometimes the greatest confession isn't inked on paper. It spills out in anger. When the mask at last drops, the prosecutor doesn't blink. "So you acknowledge controlling the family finances without complete disclosure?" Kody slams a hand down on the stand. "Of course I controlled it. Someone had to. Christine was too busy complaining. Janelle was too busy being independent. And Meri gave up on me years ago. Robyn was the only one who stood by me. And now even she." He catches himself, but the damage is done. The courtroom is absolute silence. Christine's eyes go wide, her breath stalling in her throat. Janelle's lips smile with the thinnest of smiles. Justice is finally beginning to take form. The prosecutor inclines forward. "Thank you, Mr. Brown. No further questions." Robyn is called back to the stand, her voice soft but steady. "He said it was the only way to keep control. That without it we'd lose everything. But in the end, it wasn't about protecting us. It was about protecting his pride." The judge breathes a sigh, putting down his glasses. This court has heard enough. The evidence heard is overwhelming. Financial concealment, deliberate fraud, and now, testimony that attests to direct participation. We will deliberate, but I'll say this now. The credibility of Mr. Brown's testimony is gravely impaired. Kody slumps into his chair, his face whitened, his body shaking. The erstwhile commanding patriarch now resembles a vanquished man, bereft of power and control. This is the moment every viewer has been waiting for, the collapse of an empire built on manipulation, secrecy and control. Kody Brown, once the self-proclaimed leader, is now just a man cornered by his own lies. And the silence of that courtroom is louder than any judgment. Christine turns to Janelle, tears in her eyes. "It's over." Janelle squeezes her hand. "No, Christine, it's the beginning. We're free now." Reporters scurry down the hallway, microphones in hand, headlines already abuzz. Kody Brown faces fraud charges in explosive court battle. Robyn testifies against Kody, shock betrayal in court. Tista Stir Wives stars Janelle and Christine come out on top. But in the courtroom, a softer narrative unfolds. Meri steps toward Christine and Janelle, her words trembling. "I should have stood with you. I should have believed you sooner." Christine's face softens. "Meri, you were managing on your own. What's important is you're here now." Janelle nods. "This wasn't only our battle. It was everyone's." Kody, still bent over in his chair, finally raises his eyes to Robyn's. His voice breaks. "You were supposed to be with me, always." Robyn wipes away her tears. "I was, but you weren't with us. You were only with yourself." The gavel falls. Court is adjourned. The gallery explodes. Cameras flashing, voices screaming. But for Christine and Janelle, the din recedes. They hear only the sound of triumph, not only in the courtroom, but in the return of their lives, their freedom, their dignity. As they emerge into the light, sunlight strikes their faces. Christine grins, her voice firm. We fought for the truth, and we won. Janelle takes a deep breath, her gaze sweeping the sea of flashing cameras. And this is only the beginning, because the world now knows who he truly is. All wars leave scars, and yet they also leave freedom. For Christine and Janelle, this wasn't about money or contracts. It was about stepping out of decades of silence and being controlled. Kody's empire may have fallen apart, but out of the ashes, a new narrative begins. One of women who would not remain silent, who chose truth over terror, and who finally went to war and emerged victorious.